Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I welcome you so that together we can study the immune system and how important it is to the human body. The human body has an elaborate defense system called the immunity. Now, the study of the immune system is called immunology. In addition to protecting the body from pathogens, the immune system protects the body from other foreign agents, including pollens and toxins such as bee stings, and our own cells that have gone astray, that is, the cancer cells. The defense mechanism, that is the immune system, is classified as non-specific and specific immunity. Today we are going to talk about the non-specific immunity. Non-specific immunity is further divided into two. One, first line of defense. Two, the second line of defense. The first line of defense includes mechanical barriers, e.g. the intact skin and the mucous membranes. Number two, chemical barriers, e.g. secretions of tears, saliva, perspiration, acid in the stomach, digestive system, enzymes in the stomach, and mucus which are produced in the respiratory tract. Another first line of defense is the reflexes, e.g. sneezing, coughing, vomiting, and diarrhea. The second line of defense under non-specific immunity includes phagocytosis, inflammation, fever, protective proteins in natural killer cells. So these are the mechanisms that are categorized under the second line of defense as non-specific immunity is concerned. The first line of defense, as I told you earlier, includes mechanical barriers, chemical barriers, and reflexes. Intact skin and mucous membranes serve as mechanical barriers. Pathogens cannot cross these structures and enter the body. Destruction of mechanical barriers is an invitation of microbial invasion and subsequent infection. Assisting the skin and the mucous membranes with their defensive functions are their secretions, the chemical barriers. For example, tears, saliva, and perspiration provide chemical barriers that wash away microorganisms. They also establish a hostile environment, thereby killing the potential pathogens. The acid and digestive enzymes secreted by the cells of the stomach kill most of the microorganisms that are swallowed. Tears secrete a substance called lysozyme, which discourages the growth of pathogens on the surface of the eye. Other secretions make the environment sticky and so provide another type of chemical barrier. The mucus secreted by the mucous membrane of the respiratory tract traps inhaled foreign materials accidentally. Then the cilia, which line most of the respiratory structures, sweep the entrapped material toward the throat so that the material can eventually be coughed up or swallowed. In addition to the mechanical and chemical barriers, reflexes assist in the removal of pathogens. Sneezing and coughing help remove pathogens from the respiratory tract, whereas vomiting and diarrhea help remove pathogens from the digestive tract. Mechanical barriers, chemical barriers, and reflexes are not an adequate defense against all pathogens. However, if a pathogen penetrates the first line of defense, it encounters processes that make up the second line of defense. As we looked earlier, the second line of defense comprises of phagocytosis, inflammation, fever, protective proteins, and natural killer cells. What is phagocytosis? Some of the white blood cells, that is the leukocytes, can ingest and destroy pathogens and other foreign substances by a process called phagocytosis. Some phagocytes, that is the neutrophils and the monocytes, are motile. They wander around the body through the blood and tissue fluid, doing their job. Other phagocytes are confined within a particular tissue and are fixed. Traveling through the blood to the site of infection, the neutrophils and monocytes can squeeze through the tiny gaps between the endothelial cells of the capillary walls and enter the tissue spaces at the site of infection. The process of squeezing through the tiny gaps is called diapedesis. How do the neutrophils and monocytes know where to go? Chemicals released by injured cells attract them to the injured site. The signaling to attract phagocytes in the chemical is called chemotaxis. This process is similar to a bloodhound tracking a scent. A bloodhound is a type of dog. The hound picks up the signal, that is the odor, which identifies its source. Inflammation. Inflammation refers to the response the body makes when confronted by an irritant. The irritant can be almost anything, e.g., pathogens, friction, excessive heat or cold, radiation, injuries, and chemicals. If the irritant is caused by a pathogen, the inflammation is called an infection. Inflammation is characterized by redness, heat, swelling, and pain. What are the causes of the symptoms? When the tissues are injured or irritated, injured cells release histamine, that is a chemical called histamine, and other chemicals. These chemicals cause the blood vessels in the injured tissue to dilate. The dilated blood vessels bring more blood to the area. The increased blood flow causes redness and heat. The histamine causes the blood vessel walls to leak fluid and dissolved substances into the tissue spaces, causing swelling. Fluid and irritating chemicals accumulating at the injured site also stimulate pain receptors. Therefore, the person experiences pain. Redness, heat, swelling, and pain are the classic signs of inflammation. Fever, also known as pyrexia, is an abnormal elevation in body temperature. As phagocytes perform their duty, they release fever-producing substances called pyrogens. The pyrogens stimulate the hypothalamus in the brain to reset the body's temperature, producing a fever. The elevation in temperature is thought to be beneficial in two ways. A fever stimulates phagocytosis and decreases the ability of certain pathogens to multiply. In fact, the elimination of mild fevers may do more harm than good. What happens when the hypothalamus resets the body temperature? First, the person shivers in the attempt to generate heat. The heat is conserved as the blood vessels of the skin constrict. The person may have chills and feel cold and clammy, even though the body temperature is rising. The elevated temperature hovers around the new set point while the pathogen is active, but when the infection is contained and the secretion of pathogens diminishes, the hypothalamus resets its thermostat back to normal. Heat-losing mechanisms are activated and the blood vessels of the skin dilate, thereby losing heat as the person sweats. Evidence suggests that the reduction of fever prolongs an infection. Note, however, that a very high fever must be reduced because the high body temperature may cause severe and irreversible brain damage. High fever, especially in children, is frequently accompanied by seizures. Seizures result from an elevated body temperature are called febrile or fever seizures. Protective proteins. Two groups of protective proteins, the interferons and complement system, act non-specifically to protect the body. Interferons are a group of proteins secreted by cells infected by a virus. The interferons diffuse to surrounding cells where they prevent viral replication. Researchers first found interferons in cells infected by influenza virus and named them accordingly because they interfered with viral replication. Interferons also activate natural killer cells and macrophages, thus boosting the immune system. A second group of proteins that protect the body are the complement protein. Complement proteins circulate in the blood in their inactive form. When the complement proteins are activated against a bacterium, they swarm over it. The complement attaches to the bacterium outer membrane and punches holes in it. The holes in the membrane allow fluid and electrolytes to flow into the bacterium, causing it to burst and die. The activated complement perform other functions that enhance phagocytosis and the inflammatory response. Last but not least are the natural killer cells. Natural killer cells are a specific type of lymphocytes that act non-specifically to kill a variety of cells. Natural killer cells are effective against many microbes and certain cancer cells. Natural killer cells cooperate with specific defense mechanisms to mount the most effective defense possible. To summarize, the immune system is classified into non-specific immunity and specific immunity. Today, we have studied that the non-specific immunity is further divided in the first line of defense and the second line of defense. First line of defense includes medical barriers, e.g. intact skins and mucous barriers. Chemical barriers include secretions of tears, saliva, perspiration, acid and digestive enzyme secretion in the body, and mucus in the respiratory system. Reflexes include sneezing, coughing, vomiting and diarrhea, all of which help to eliminate pathogens from their area of infection. The second line of defense includes phagocytosis, inflammation, fever, protective proteins, and natural killer cells. Thank you. We meet in the next lesson.